Jess, what makes a woman capable in life or business?
I would say with that is having the confidence to know that she is capable, being so sure that they can do like whatever they set their mind to in life, in business. I think capability really does truly come down to that sense of self, that self like confidence that you just know that you can do anything.
And what is the meaning of capable to you?
The meaning of capable, so talking off the back of that is again that just being so sure that I know that if I set myself something, I can go out there and I can do it. I can achieve it. And despite all outside noise, despite anybody's opinions, it's just again being so set in, I know that I can do it.
That's really interesting because one of your businesses is actually called is it the Capable Collective?
The Capable Collective.
Yeah. Tell me why you chose that name for the business.
So I chose that name for the business because for me, it's more than just fitness. It was more than just about health. It was really about showing women that they are capable. They can do the thing, whether that's walking into the gym, picking up the weight, working on themselves, or whether it's starting the business, leaving the job, leaving the relationship, whatever it is. It's really about stepping into that capable version of yourself. And that's going to look different for every single person. So I knew when I started the business that it was more than just walking into the gym. It was about more than just fitness. It was about showing women that they was truly capable.
And with your community, the types of women that come to you, what's the situation that they're in? A lot of them. What are the situations that they're in?
So a lot of the time it is a lack of confidence. And I know confidence, that word is kind of thrown around a lot. But what I found over the years is often we can think, and I used to think this is where it came from, that confidence is just a desired look. So it's looking in the mirror and going, I look good today, which of course there's an element to that. But what I found, like true confidence is something that is genuinely from within you. Like it's literally inside of you. It's like we've just been talking about. It's being able to walk into the rooms. It's being able to show up for yourself, being able to take the opportunities, push yourself out of your comfort zone. And this is what a lot of the women struggle with. And it's really helping them like understand that, yes, I know you want to look good when you look in the mirror. I know you want to feel good, but I want you to be truly equipped to feel confident, to feel capable, that you can walk into any room. You can take any opportunity that you want to. You don't hold yourself back in life. And that is usually where their starting point is. It's just that underconfident, maybe not like being a bit unsure of their identity, like where they belong and how they live essentially. And that's where the Capable Collective comes in. It's not just about getting your good glutes, and that's important, I understand. But it really is about being able to step into that most confident self and, yeah, being able to just take anything that comes your way.
And as a business owner yourself, looking at it from a business perspective, how can women become more capable in business today? Many ambitious women want to scale in their business, but they just don't know how to. And a lot of women who are still in their 9 to 5s want to grow a business, but have no idea on the steps to get there. This is exactly why the Rise Experience is here. The first edition, Start and Scale, is literally all about helping you start and scale your business. We're going to be talking about how to rewire your mindset, get rid of that employee thinking, and get into the founder thinking mindset. We're going to be looking at identifying your unique point. What makes you special? What can you offer to customers that people are going to be willing to pay for? Figuring out your next plan to build that business or to scale that business. Tickets are available within our link in the bio, and we look forward to seeing you there. Don't miss out.
I feel like it all comes back to how you carry yourself. Like, again, like maybe how you see yourself, what you believe in. And do you know what I found over the years? It's like who you surround yourself with. I cannot even begin to explain how much that has impacted like my business journey in feeling capable, in feeling like I can do it. But just being able to really just own who you are, what you want, being able to just say, do you know what? Like I can do it. And like being so sure within yourself. I feel like that's what it all comes down to, and not getting distracted, not taking opinions from outside, just really staying in your own lane, staying focused And yeah, just believing that you've got it.
You said something key there in the beginning about the people that you chose to surround yourself with. A lot of entrepreneurs say that you surround yourself with the people that you want to become like, or the people that inspire you. But let's delve deep into how that actually plays a part in succeeding in your business.
Yeah. I have found it really challenging over the last few years of what I've learned is like, if you want to achieve anything, like keep it to yourself. Like, obviously you do need to tell people around you, the right people. But if you get an opinion that is only going to potentially maybe change the decision that you want to make, like that is huge. And it only takes one comment from one person that maybe doesn't get it. And it's, you know, it's nothing personal. They just maybe don't think or operate the same as you, to knock your confidence completely. And I've had that so much over the last few years where I feel like I've hit a point now where, again, I'm so sure in what I want now, and I'm so aware of who I surround myself with, that those outside noises like have got a lot quieter, and like for good reason. And I'm so selective now of who I take advice from, of who I'm surrounded by. If I get like bad vibes, usually like my gut feeling's right, and it's just a case of not everyone needs to know your business, not everyone needs to know where you're going, not everyone needs to understand. Is the simple way that I can put it. Not everybody has to get it.
I'm curious to know how your relationships changed as you were growing up that entrepreneurial ladder.
Hugely, massively. And I think it's really kind of relates as well. Like from a young age, I went into the military. So I've always had a kind of like been away from home, different mindset, always been meeting different people. And what I found is sometimes people won't like it if you are changing, or maybe like you set boundaries, and that has really shown it. And again, it's never anything personal, but I think the quicker that I learned that, like the quicker it got easy to digest, I guess, because yeah, over the last few years, especially as I've owned a business, you do get to see those people that are truly rooting for you and want to support you versus the people that actually will end up dropping off because they either don't get you anymore. You know, you've outgrown each other, you've got different responsibilities, different lives, and that's actually so okay as well. But actually holding on to maybe friendships or relationships that aren't serving you anymore only ends up keeping you stuck. And I mean that in the most politest way possible. But I feel like, yeah, it's just really learning when like, do you know what? This was maybe just a chapter of my life, and like for me to move on now, like that's okay. And it is crazy the amount of people you meet through business. And I've had the pleasure of meeting so many amazing women in particular. And you can see the mindsets are different, and that's okay that like some of your friends won't always get what you're doing on your business journey too. I feel like that's really key. Like, you know, you've got to have a life outside of business, and keeping that identity separate is actually going to serve you well, I would say. But yeah, like, oh my gosh, like being in just surrounded by those people that do get it, like that has absolutely made a huge difference to my growth.
How can women leverage skills gained from previous roles or experiences to build a scalable, viable business? Now, I chose this question specifically for you because I think the fact that you've been in the military, I think you're one of the only women that I've met that's been in the military and has transitioned into entrepreneurship.
Oh, no way.
And I think that's really amazing. So I'm pretty sure you've obviously done other things as well outside of being in the military. Mm-hmm. But I'm curious to know what skills you might have taken away and transitioned that into entrepreneurship. You want more, but you have no idea on how to get there. You have the skills and you have no idea of how to package it into something that people are willing to pay for. This is exactly what I help women with in our Rise program. Rise is about helping you turn your skills and your expertise into something that is scalable in a business. We help you package everything into one so that you can start attracting your first paying clients or customers. If you want to apply, make sure that you visit our Rise page on our website and fill in the form so that we can get to talking. If you're ready to definitely scale your business this year and you're tired of waiting around, you're tired of feeling lost and stuck and not knowing what to do next, you need this. And this program definitely needs you too.
Oh my gosh, like my journey in the military, I definitely would not be the person that I am today without that. I went in at a very young age because I really struggled with education, like staying focused. I've always been a hands-on person. And when I think back to the younger version of me, I've actually always had entrepreneurial traits. because even when I was younger, I would like want to be on like Depop. Remember when Depop was around? Depop, eBay, that kind of thing. Like, I feel like it's always been installed in me. But when I joined the military, like I knew from quite an early stage in the career that as much as like I loved the discipline, I loved the routine, I loved the lifestyle, I had this itch that I probably would be my own boss one day. And I feel like that just all stemmed from like just that feeling of, I don't know, maybe being a bit hesitant when people was telling me what to do. But do you know what? The skills that I gained there and like how they've now transferred over, to my business is just incredible. And I would start off first of all with like discipline. It's huge in the military, but I feel like as a business owner, you have got to be so disciplined. And obviously as a health and fitness professional as well, that they all tie together too. But like being able to just say like, do you know what? Like, I need to get this work block done by X date, and like being able to follow that through. Like, that's such an important skill that you need as a business owner, because you've got to hold yourself to these high standards. And these are skills that I learned from the military, like being disciplined, being resilient, being able to just take on whatever comes your way. Like, you will know, like in business, even this week, I've had such a challenging week, even to the point where like, I've had sleepless nights this week, and you have got to be so resilient, because if you're not, like, you could quite easily throw the towel in. And that again is a skill that I've taken from the military, being disciplined, being resilient, and not being shy of hard work. Like, you've got to work. Like, when I was in the RAF, that was my lifestyle. Like, if they needed me, I had to be ready. Like, I had to be ready to go. Like, it doesn't matter if I've got a birthday meal or whatever's going on in my life. Like, no, like, this is my commitment. And it's very much the same in business. Like, if you are not willing to work hard, like, I would just say there's just absolutely no point, because it's tricky, it's challenging. Like I was just saying there, like, I've had a challenging week this week, but like, it's that work ethic and that hard work that I just always keep showing up, and I always want to just keep going, and it is rewarding.
I bet it is. And I think you touched on a really key point there about the skills that you've taken away from being in the army and putting it into your business, things
RAF,
like being
specific.
being disciplined.
Yeah.
And I think I want to ask you, if you wasn't in the RAF, so I keep saying army
No,
because
it's
in my
okay.
head I'm just
No,
thinking,
yeah.
oh my God, Jess was in the army.
No, there's three
So,
different ones. That's
yeah,
fine, yeah.
if you wasn't in the RAF, how do you think you would have showed up in business today? Because I'm a firm believer in getting those skills in before you grow any business. So what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think it'd have been a lot more challenging not having that previous experience. I got very used to working hard, but working well under pressure. Being able to be adaptable, like, huge. Like, being adaptable to be like, right, okay, like, we're working in the UK. And then there was one day, like, in my military career, that I drove back and forth home, like, literally twice through. It was an hour commute, because I was told to pack my bags and, like, we're literally going to deploy. And, like, that actually didn't end up happening. But being able to be so adaptable where you're like, okay, do you know what? Let's go. And again, like, that skill that I have learned that has now carried it into business is huge. And if I didn't have these experiences before, I would definitely find it more challenging, where I just feel like I've got to a point now where nothing kind of phases me. Obviously, I've got so much more like challenges coming my way. Like, I just know that. But I feel like once you're equipped with those skills, once you've had that feeling of like, this is difficult, but I overcome it, and like, you've built that inner confidence, when you've proved to yourself that you are capable, like you just get through it.
So after transitioning and entering business, let's say within your first year, how did you figure out how to build a viable plan?
Wow. So when I first started my business, it was a crossover. So I was still in the military, but I knew that I was leaving, and I was building up my business alongside. I would use in like literally any spare time that I had to do my courses, build up my skills, start building a client base. It was a personal training business first. That's what I started with before I transitioned to being online. And yeah, like any spare time that I had, it was just dedicated to that. And it was a very slow, like, scale, like just slowly tipping like this. It wasn't a case of like, just jump and take the leap. It really was a case of slowly just putting one foot in front of another, until I got to a point where I was like, what is the worst that could happen? Like, what is the worst that could happen? Like, I took a huge risk. leaving that stable career. I'm sure a lot of people around me, like I had the nice uniform, I had the stability, I had on paper, I guess, like a very good job, like good pay, all of these things. But there was just that part of me that was just like, I just don't feel like this is it. Like, I just don't think like this is going to be my life. And so that just making that decision, it really was just an element of risk to be like, I'm just going to start this. And I threw myself in the deep end, to be honest with you. I also got a job working at a CrossFit gym, and I was able to just start building that income slowly and like slowly start making that transition. At one point, I was literally coaching at a gym, personal training, trying to build that online business and still in the military still. So it was just a case of like, say, just trusting myself, taking that risk, but ultimately just jumping in with 2 feet.
Mm-hmm. This is really interesting because I think I made a reaction to another entrepreneur talking about how people should leave their 9 to 5s so that they can focus solely on their business. And because he had the cushion of his 9 to 5 to fall back on, he wasn't pursuing his goals within his business enough. And you commented, didn't you? You agreed with me when I said use your 9 to 5 to build leverage for your business and then leave once you've made enough money. You agreed. Tell me your thoughts on hustle culture, telling people, forcing people to quit their jobs and get into business.
I don't think you can. I mean, not always. Obviously, it depends on your circumstances, but I also feel like there's a place to be able to have your hand in different pots, if you like, because being able to have that structure of like your job, like your previous job before, actually keeps you disciplined to be like, do you know what? If I finish work at 5, like I've got 2 hours here to work on the business before I do X, Y, Z. I feel like actually, do you know when you have got too much time freedom? This is what I found in the past because I went through a stage for about 6 months where I just went all in on the business with no other distractions, no other income. When you have too much time, I actually find that you are counterproductive. I actually find you're not as productive as you could be because it's almost like, where do you put it? I feel like actually having almost a bit of pressure to be like, do you know what? This is only the snippet of time that I've got. And like, I'm going to put everything into that to make that a thing. But also from the other stance, you've also got income. Like you don't want to build a business from a place of stress. Like I've also been in that situation where it's like, I've got to make money. And I don't feel like that's a place to build from. Like other people will obviously succeed in different ways from different pressures. But me personally, like having just a bit of stability actually allows you that brain power to be like, do you know what? There's no pressure here. I get to build from a place of like, I'm good. If this doesn't work, like I'm good.
So not everyone that transitions from a 9 to 5 should and can build a business. What are the traits that you think make someone capable of building a business?
Love that word. Honestly, like you have got to be so incredibly passionate about what you do. Like that is what it comes down to and stems down to. Like if you are not passionate about what you do, obviously people build businesses for different reasons, don't they? There are some people that do build businesses to sell income, all of those things. But like for me in my business and what I do, like if I didn't care about what I did, if I wasn't super passionate, I honestly just wouldn't recommend it. Like I just wouldn't be doing this because it's so difficult. There's no switch off point. You know, last night definitely not trying to promote this, especially as a health and fitness professional, but I was working till 11:30 on my laptop last night. You know, gone to sleep, up again this morning. My partner, bless him, has drove me here today, and I've literally been working in the passenger seat. So like, if you're not passionate about what you do and you really don't care about it, like I would just absolutely not recommend starting a business.
Give me your top 3. So being passionate is one. You have mentioned discipline. Do you still think that would be in your top 3?
I would say yes, discipline. And it's not from a place of hustle culture, from a place of like, well, you got to go to the gym and you got to do this, but you've got to be really good, I guess, discipline / time management. You've got to be really good at saying like, right, I know that is due, it's done. And also like, just to add to that as well, I would add in like being able to kind of like stick to your word. And I feel like they kind of fit in together because if you said you're going to do something, you got to do it, especially you've got customers. I've had that this week where I've been on a call, I've asked questions and I've said, yeah, I'm going to be able to give you that. I've gone behind the scenes and gone, actually, can I make it work? I've said now. you've got my word. Like, I will not go back on that. And I feel like that is a really important trait that you've got to have as well. You've got to be able to make it work, even if it's not working for you. But if you've said something, you've got to be able to keep your word, and actually, honestly, put others first, especially if you are like, in a customer facing or like client facing business. Like, it's really important.
That's really interesting because my three are quite different to yours. Let's see if we can agree or disagree on some.
Yeah.
So my first one is resilience.
Yeah.
I think business forces you into situations you otherwise wouldn't want to be in.
Yeah.
And you have to learn how to get yourself back up, especially if you're the person who's running your company. I mean, you're going to have your team maybe to cheer you up and to tell you, okay, let's try and do this other than this. But at the end of the day, the decisions fall back on you.
Yes, I would absolutely agree with resilience. I feel like you're saying, if you haven't got that, then you're really going to struggle.
My second one is risk tolerance.
Yeah.
I think entering business, I didn't realize how taking risks would actually take me further than I thought. I used to be so risk averse. I would be like, no, taking risk is just the worst thing. But you're gonna have to learn how to take those risks in order to succeed.
Oh my gosh. I would actually add that. Can I go back? I would add that to my three because I would absolutely back everything that you've just said, because if I haven't taken half the risks that I've taken since starting this business, like I don't even know where I would be. And like, being able to be comfortable with risk taking is absolutely huge, whether that is financial, obviously to a certain extent. But I like, again, at the start of my journey, one trait that I've always really noticed about myself is that I've always wanted to learn more, and like you say, not been scared about taking a risk, whether that's hiring the mentor, whether that's getting the course, whether that's, whatever it is. And that is huge, because if you just go, oh, I'll just figure it out on myself, like, or, oh, that's a bit expensive, or I'm not going to risk investing in that program, like, you will maybe get so far, but you will end up stuck. So absolutely agree with that. I love that one.
And being decisive isn't actually in my top three, but I would link being decisive to being risk tolerant, because if you're just able to make a quick decision, not on a whim, not impulsively, but you have a decision to make, okay, I'm going to invest this amount of money into my business because if I know I do that, then this is going to work. You just do it quickly, and I guess you link that to taking that risk rather than just pondering on the decision and waiting.
Agree. Absolutely agree. I feel like being able to make a decision, whether it's right or wrong, I feel like I've spent a lot of time in the past, like, really trying to figure out, is this the right thing? Is this the wrong thing? It doesn't matter. If you don't make a decision, I heard that someone say that recently, but if you don't make a decision, that's also making a decision.
Exactly.
So it's like, make the decision, whether it's right, whether it's wrong, whether, it doesn't end up the way that you want it to be. But like you say, just spending time in that limbo of not making any decisions will literally get you nowhere.
And my last one, to be honest, I think this is probably the most important trait that every founder should have, being innovative. Business is all about scaling, really. I mean, you're not going to just get into business for your company to just plateau. You want the company to grow. You need to look at the white spaces in the market. What are my competitors doing that I'm not doing? What are they not doing that I can maybe fill the gap with? You need to think about, forward thinking in the next couple of years. What are consumers going to be looking for? That's what makes, to be honest, I think that's what makes an entrepreneur a real entrepreneur.
Yeah, no, I again would absolutely agree. And I really take that stance with the Capable Collective. When I think about and I look at other competitors in my industry, it's like a lot of them really do miss like the mindset puzzle, really being able to, it's not just about quick fixed plan, 6 weeks, get in shape. It's not about that. It's about equipping people, like you say, with the skills that they can take. And I think I've really noticed that is a lot of people just think about like the short term, and actually being able to think about long-term results for like my clients, but also it then stands from a business point of view, retention is higher, all of these things. And I would absolutely agree that you've got to be able to see, what are people not giving people in my industry, like, that actually they would really benefit from and actually would help this business grow and actually stand the test of time, because not a lot do. And I absolutely understand why, to be honest. It's
In
difficult.
your industry, what would you say are the white spaces that people should be looking to fill in?
Retention, like long term, again, like in my industry, again, it's very much about quick, like, or I can get you this within 8 weeks. It's like, well, we can continue to help people for a prolonged period here. Like for me, I'm in the process of building something at the minute, like a further offer for the Capable Collective where people can stay for a long time. Like I can continue to keep supporting them, and it's a long-term journey. And, you know, some of that is because I'm more lifestyle focused and not just about like aesthetic results within my industry. But I do really think it's about providing people with that long-term result and that long-term support and access to you. So how you can retain people for longer, because that's what they want as well. Like they want to come to you, they want to get a result, but they want to keep getting that result. And yeah, it's not just about like the quick wins.
Mm-hmm. What other businesses you wouldn't get involved in today?
I probably wouldn't ever get involved in a product-based
Really?
business. Yeah.
This is interesting. Why?
I don't know. I feel like I'm very creative and good at like creating programs or like what things should look like. I feel like when it comes to product, I absolutely would not have a Scooby-Doo where to start. Like, so yeah, I feel like service-based businesses and like online businesses, that's kind of always been what I've known. So maybe not never, but no, I don't think I would, you know. Like the thought of having like the warehouse, the stock, like,
Wow.
it's a lot.
Okay, I'm going to throw out a bold statement.
Ooh.
I feel like with service-based businesses, you can actually go far, very far, and make tons of money. But product-based businesses, that's where the scale really is.
Interesting.
Because I feel like with service-based businesses, there is a ceiling.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah.
With products, I mean, there's so many things. I mean, even when we talk about exiting a business, you can easily exit a product-based business. With service-based, investors aren't going to want to invest in a company that relies on the founder's face.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean?
I absolutely agree. And I feel like this is where it all stems down to, what are you in business for? Because like, you know, not everybody is in business for the same reasons. And I think, and that also can change. But at my current time, like the reason that I'm in business is because I want to make impact to women. I want to coach women. I want to be led. Like I want my face to be the brand. I, at this point, would never, ever thinking about selling the Capable Collective or my business. So like, I feel like when it's that, it's like, that's fine. But like, I know exactly what you're saying. Like, it would make so much sense for you to not have your face over everything, especially with a product-based business, if you had the mindset to, I'm going to build this to sell it. So I feel like, again, you go into business and there's those two different pathways and there's no right or wrong, but I feel like you either are like in one lane or the other.
Jess, how does prioritizing health and fitness contribute to success in one's career?
I love this question. It is so beyond important. And I'm going to start off first of all saying like, your health is your greatest asset, right? Everybody knows that. I don't need to tell anybody that they should be eating better, that they should be moving their body, they should be sleeping well. We all know that. We've been told that from a very young age. Eat your 5 a day, you know, get out, move your body, all of these things. But especially for a woman in business or an ambitious woman with, you know, a career that, you know, they want to do really well at, if you don't fill your own cup first, if you don't pour into yourself first, it's going to be so difficult to pour into anything else. And you know, we go through seasons. I'm a health and fitness professional, and even at the moment, my gym sessions are down, but I'm still there. I'm still showing up for myself. And I always live by the rule of set yourself some minimum expectations. What are those minimum expectations? And that actually is going to give me energy. I think a lot of the time people can treat it as, you know, something on their to-do list, when actually it gets to be the thing on your to-do list that gives back to you. It gives you that energy. So actually your other tasks in the day feel better. Like, you're feeling a lot clearer, you're more creative, you know, you've got more time to think, you've got more physical energy. And yeah, I think treating it with that mentality of like, it's not another thing onto your to-do list, go like health and fitness in general, like going to the gym, you know, making the time to make the healthy meals, going to bed on time. You know, it's not just another thing on your to-do list. It really is something that is going to be super powerful in your growth and in your journey.
I really like what you said, because I feel like, especially in business where some days are very unpredictable, very unpredictable. And for me, there's been days where I've been working till late and I haven't eaten anything all day. I'll buy a bunch of junk just to fill myself up.
Yeah.
And then I'll skip days in the gym because I'd rather just stay at home and just work on the business. But I'm literally killing myself doing that because I'm not taking care of myself. So what advice would you give to the women who are in that position?
Do you know what? First of all, I would just say that I get it. I get it because I even go through weeks of that. And it's only from, I've been on my fitness journey now for 14 years. And I feel like it's just through that repetition of like, it is just the way that I live. But some weeks like won't be as to a high standard as they usually would be. And honestly, again, just that permission slip to know that it's okay. Like it is actually okay because we are people that, like you say, when you're in a flow, when you're working on your business, when you're doing this, it feels so hard to take yourself out of that because nothing else feels as important as getting this task done. But what I would say is set yourself some minimum expectations. So if it is a case of like you're working super hard on your business, you don't actually have any capacity to get yourself off to the gym, what is your plan B? And I actually use this with my clients, but it's very beneficial for especially women in business to set yourself the plan A expectations. Maybe that is I go to the gym 3 times a week, I eat 3 balanced meals a day, I drink my water. But what is your plan B if you've got a super busy week and this is not possible? It's not a case of all or nothing and we ditch something. Is what is the plan B? Is it 20 minutes workout at home just so you don't have to leave the house? You don't have to add that in. Is it a case of, do you know what? Like you do need to buy pre-prepared food and there's no shade on that. Sometimes that is reality. But what can you choose instead? Are there some better options that you can choose? Is it a case of, do you know what? I'm surviving off caffeine right now. I still get to have my coffee, but I need to have a glass of water with it as well. And I think having those expectations and actually physically writing them down and having like a plan A, plan B, it means you never fall off it. You're never going to start neglecting yourself because if in an ideal world you can't do the plan A week, you've got the plan B to fall back on. And that is still going to give you that energy. It's still going to give you something rather than just falling into the nothing category where you're like, do you know what? This is all way too overwhelming. I don't have the time for this. I'm going to do nothing.
That's really interesting. I feel like, do you think having a plan B will make a person more likely to actually fail with committing to the plan A? Because if they've got the plan B and the plan A, they've got too many things to choose from. They might get overwhelmed and they might just procrastinate.
Yeah, no, I absolutely love that. I feel like with this, it's all a case of knowing what you've got on for the week. So I'm really good at looking on a Sunday. I'll look down at my Google Calendar. I love Google Calendar because I can color code it.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. So I'll look down and I'll go, right, what is my real, like, what have I got on this week? And what can I actually ask for myself that's realistic? So like you say, it's a case of having that kind of plan A, plan B in the back pocket. But it's like, look, we've got capacity this week to get those 3 gym sessions done in. So they're off in the calendar, they're going in and like, that is it. It's an appointment. And I always say this, but like your gym sessions or, you know, your healthy food shop, like treat it as an appointment. Like you would never let your nail tech down. Like you just wouldn't because you'll have to pay the fee. If you treat it with that same mentality of like, that is an appointment with myself that I'm going to show up for, I'm not going to miss it. It just gets so much easier. But to answer your question, it would be a case of like looking at the week ahead, being realistic. Do you know what? I can't get to the gym this many times this week. However, I know that I can work out at home. Therefore, 20 minutes home workouts going on a Monday, it's going on a Wednesday. And I think it's just really going into that week. But it is a really good question. And I guess it's understanding what kind of person you are. Because for me, if I've got the 2 options, I will always strive towards what my highest expectations of myself. So the plan A, as we're talking about it. But I'm also really realistic. And some weeks I'm like, Jess, like, this has got to take priority. You know, we are back to back, like days are busy. However, we can still do something. And that's when it's kind of like, it's nice to know I've still, you know, I've got these expectations of myself, but it's not asking the world from me.
Yeah, because I'm one of those people that can't do well with strict schedules.
Yeah.
I like flexibility. There's been times where I've set myself reminders during the day, take this vitamin, go to the gym on this day, and it just doesn't work because I just don't commit to it. So I think, yeah, like you said, I guess having the plan A and plan B works well for some people who can stick to the plan A.
Yeah, for sure. But like you were saying, sometimes asking too much of yourself, like saying being so rigid with like the time blocking, with all like it's just it can honestly become so overwhelming where we just go, do you know what? I'm just gonna stay with my laptop instead.
Exactly. Let's end with a fun game round.
Oh.
Called What Would You Do?
Oh no.
So I'm just going to give you some scenarios and you'll tell me quick fire, what would you do?
Okay.
Yeah. So you post consistently for 3 months and barely grow.
Barely grow. I would be honestly asking myself, am I boring? I do this a lot. I do this a lot with my content. I'm like, how's it been going lately? Oh gosh, I think it's boring. And I think actually getting used to just being brutal with yourself. So literally going, would I watch? Is this boring? If the answer, be honest, like, you're only going to hurt your own ego. It's not that deep. Like, actually, this is quite boring. Let me switch it up.
But why would that mean you're boring? Maybe you're targeting the wrong crowd.
Yeah, of course. Like, you could take it from so many different angles, but I do feel like social media, especially, people want entertainment. And you're seeing more of that lately. I don't know if you've noticed it, but there's a lot more like humor being involved, like just being able to be able to stop that scroll. So yeah, maybe from a different angle, asking yourself that question instead of like, is this going to stop the scroll? Maybe not, am I boring? I just maybe ask myself that because I'm a bit brutal. But like, is this going to actually stop the scroll? Do you know what? It's not. I wouldn't stop the scroll for this. That's maybe when it's time to switch things up.
Yeah. A competitor copies your idea.
Oh, happened many times.
Really?
Yeah, but I feel like, do you know what I've got really, really good at is nobody can do it like you. And as long as you are so locked in, again, from, I've said this so many times throughout this podcast, but who you are, like what you are capable of, what you bring to the table, and you're so sure and you know that, like, I feel that's good enough. Like, I've got so used to not reacting. And I honestly think that's huge. Like, it's just not that deep. Obviously, it can be deep in certain circumstances, but if, for example, if I've done an event and then I've seen a competitor's copy the exact same event 2 weeks later or something, I've learned to just let it go because they wasn't in that room. They don't bring my energy. They're not me. Like, and I think actually being so set in that and knowing that is honestly so freeing.
I think if a competitor copies your idea, it's a good thing.
Yeah.
To be honest, I've seen so many of my competitors stealing some of our ideas, and I'm like, okay, so you've been watching.
Yeah,
That's
it's
very
like a
nice.
compliment, I guess, isn't it? And just like you say, being so sure that like no one will do it like you. So actually, you can take a deep breath and it's okay.
Exactly. Okay, you need to raise your prices, but you're scared clients will leave.
Wow, this has hit the nail on the head for a very good time because I've done that this week actually. I've retired offers, especially for offers that I've had for like 2 years and clients in those offers for like 2 years. And so I feel like I can talk from experience from real life right now. And what I would say is you have to separate yourself from the business sometimes, especially in a client focused business. Like, you've got to separate you and the business because yes, it's great to be compassionate. Yes, it's great to really, really care because I'm somebody that absolutely cares about my clients. But you've got to think about, where is this business going? And is the decisions that I am making right now actually positively impacting that? Because if you just lead from emotion, so for example, I want to, keep my prices here because I'm scared that people are going to leave and X, Y, Z, like, ask yourself, is this going to benefit the business? And if the answer is no, like, you really have got to put your big girl pants on and you've got to do it because you will just stay stuck. And even if it's difficult, like I say, I found it difficult this week. You have to learn to take a deep breath and those people that do understand and do get it will absolutely understand and they'll stay with you. And we're in a world where everything is increasing all of the time. Have you seen the prices of Easter eggs this year? Honestly,
oh, no way, not
shocked.
Easter eggs.
Absolutely, genuinely shocked. And like, when I remember that, I think like, wow, like what I'm doing is incredible. And actually, like, I'm get to help people. And that's okay. Like, you can't always be affordable or anything for everybody. And like, just accepting that is fine.
Yeah, I think, you know what, I found it to be mainly with UK clients.
Yes.
Because I literally had a client call the other day, a potential prospect, and I told her my price and she was like straight away, you know what, I'm not going to waste your time because I don't have that kind of money.
Yeah.
And those kind of things will knock some people down, especially if you're early in your business. But like you said, it's all about knowing your worth.
Yes.
Because with US clients, I mean, I've got a friend in Canada and I told her my price and she was like, you need to be charging way more. And I think it's just a UK thing. People don't want to pay that price. People don't want to invest in themselves and people don't want to raise their prices because of the fact that there's a lot of people that don't want to invest in themselves.
No, I absolutely agree. And I found like, if I get an inquiry, say from like a business owner, the prices seem to land better. And I feel like that is a theme because like we are so used to investing in ourselves and investing in our business that it doesn't really feel like a shock. But I agree, like if you are like somebody, if you're just targeting, it's just somebody off the street, like they are not, and they're maybe not used to investing in themselves. I understand, like I actually totally understand, and I do get it. But it's so difficult when you know your value and you're like, I could help you so much. Like this will be well worth that money. If only you knew this should be double. Then like, you know, for the results that you are going to get. And I think just knowing that within yourself, and like you say, you are going to get so many no's. You are going to get so many no's, and it feels like a kick in the teeth, but you cannot let that dictate like, oh, I'm just gonna like half the price, because it will only come back and bite you. And I found that so many times where like I've just like lowered the price, and then the client's not got the result that I wanted to, or politely like they've maybe asked too much from me what I'm willing to give for like the value that they have paid, and it only ends up feeling like resentment, or it just feels like it doesn't feel good. So I feel like you say, like, just standing in your ground to like know what your worth is, and some people will see that and some people won't. And do you know, if they don't see it now, they might see it in 6 months, they might see it in a year. And if they don't, that's okay. You can't help everyone.
Exactly. Okay. You have a profitable idea, but no savings.
Ooh. Okay. I like this. I feel like if I was in that situation and I had an idea that I'm like, right, this could really take off, but I didn't really have the funds, I would like to say that I would go and find somebody that could invest in it and build together, but I have trust issues, so I don't actually know that I would do that. I feel like I would really start, what is the smallest thing that I could do to get this off the ground, right? Like, I'm bad at this. I always think like big, and that is actually a really good trait to have, like always thinking big. But before you get to that big place, that end goal, like what is that first step that you can take? So if you don't have any savings, or you don't really have a lot of money to get this business off the ground, what is one thing that you can do? And maybe that might be a case of, I don't know, you've got an idea, you might start creating free content on YouTube for it. Like then you might start earning some money from it. And then you know, eventually you've got some savings, you've got some money to be able to put behind that idea. But what I would say is like a lot of people do get stuck and they just stop themselves from starting anything because they're like, I don't know where to start, or I don't have the money to start something. And it's like, what can you do for free first? Or like, what can you do with a tenner first? Or do you know that it doesn't always have to cost the world, and just actually taking that first step will take you very far.
Yeah, I just want to add more emphasis on what you said about starting small.
Yeah.
Because when people come up with business ideas and they imagine the amount of money that they could make, and they think, okay, because I can make this amount of money, I need to invest this amount of money initially to get that in return. But that's what can actually slow you down, because especially if you're a new business, people need to be introduced to you slowly. I mean, you can't just get into the market and try and explode your business and think that it's going to get you far. You need to start off slowly and grow slowly. And like you said, do stuff for free, do pilots, do testing, and then build from there.
Honestly, like I've been going with my business for like over 4 years now, and I'm still in that stage where you still test things, what's working. Like, and if I just like got to this point where I'm at now from day one, like I just wouldn't have been able to do that. But like, it doesn't happen overnight. You have to think, what is that first step? And that's exactly what I've done with my business journey. It's like, what was the first step? Start personal training people. What's the next step? I want to start an online coaching business. Like, you know, you start, and then now, like in the process of, we are like white labeling an app and like and putting the app out there, and it's just taking those steps. And you know, you can't have something overnight. It doesn't work like that. So being brave and just what is your first step that you can take? That's so simple.
Okay, last one. AI starts doing what you do faster and cheaper.
It's already on the horizon.
Yeah.
It's already on the horizon, especially in my industry. Like you can put into ChatGPT now, like write me a workout plan. Like I don't need to hide that. Like you can do that and they'll give you one. But like they cannot give you that human to human connection and be able to give real life coaching. And I think that is huge. And I think it's remembering, like, even with AI on the horizon, like just being so sure of your worth again. Like, what do I bring to the table? I am so confident. AI would never be able to coach my clients the way that I coach them. You know, if they're having a bad day, it might, you know, it's quite good to talk to. Sometimes have a little chat with it. But like, it's not going to be there with that human to human connection that people are craving. And also, especially in my industry, community is huge. People want to be surrounded by people. AI can't give people that. Like, it can't give that sense of belonging, that sense of community. So yes, it can give people a workout plan. Yes, it could technically tell them what to eat. But I'm really confident that it can't coach people. It can't get results. And it's, again, it all comes down to that. People want connection. And that is so, so important.
I agree with what you said, but I also think that AI is not going anywhere, not anytime soon anyway. So I feel like if you want to start a business now, figure out how you can use AI to scale your business. I mean, there's not just ChatGPT or Gemini. There's so many elements of AI that I didn't even realize. And I started using some of it to help the business grow. And I'm like, okay, this is good. But like you said, there's the human element of it. There's now founder-led marketing that, you know, a lot of people are leaning more to the founders as well, faces. So I guess it's just trying to find that balance in between, isn't it?
Do you know what? It's a brilliant tool. I literally will just voice note it and be like, I brain dump sometimes and be like, this is what I'm trying to like do. This is my idea. Can we come out? Like, it's so great to like bounce off, get ideas from. But like you say, it's remembering like in my industry in particular, I've seen at the moment that people are literally writing like all of their plans, even doing like client check-ins through AI. Like, you know, like that to me is like laziness. You know, like you don't want to do what you're doing, but like you say, it can absolutely be used to your advantage to help you. So yeah, definitely use it where you can, and I definitely will continue to voice note it.
Yeah.
Like it's my therapist.
I think everyone does that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. Jess, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank
I love
you
this
so
chit chat.
much. Had so much fun.
Where can people find you and what's next for you?
So you can find me on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. I'm across all of those. It's _ at Jess Foster with a double R, just because there wasn't my name available, unfortunately. And The Capable Collective over on Instagram as well for my business. And what have I got coming up? So I've just started a women's wellbeing and empowerment business, events business, sorry. So that is taking a lot of my time at the moment. So if you are somebody around the Midlands that likes to go to events, then I'd love to see you in the room. But yeah, and for The Capable Collective, we are working on launching an app and just taking that next step and like helping more women. So yeah, exciting times.
Love that. Leave us with one piece of advice for any woman who wants to scale in entrepreneurship.
Just know that you are capable. You are so capable, like genuinely you are. And I think just back yourself more, back yourself, and just don't be afraid to take risks. Don't be afraid to put yourself out there. Don't be afraid to give things a go, because I think that's ultimately all it comes down to. It's just being brave and just knowing that you can do it if you put your mind to it.